He's the godfather of heavy metal, the prince of darkness, the great Oz. But while what came out of his mouth was era-defining music, what went in was the stuff of legend. Today we're talking about two incidents where Ozzy Osbourne bit the heads off live animals. Students, I hope you brought your appetite, because this is Pop Culture 301. In the 70s and 80s, the rock scene grew louder, heavier, and more theatrical, and at the forefront of all of this was Ozzy Osbourne. He was a founding member of Black Sabbath, sang on the first doom metal song, and on the very first heavy metal album. But in 1979, Black Sabbath replaced him. So Ozzy pivoted to a solo career with the release of Blizzard of Oz, which struggled to sell at first. On March 27, 1981, Ozzy was invited to a meeting at Epic Records with his then manager, Sharon Arden. Slow sales had turned into a rough patch between the artist and the label, so the plan was for Ozzy to give a reconciliatory speech and release live doves into the room in a gesture of peace. What could possibly go wrong, right? Well, Ozzy showed up drunk, even by his standards, and grew bored while a publicist was talking. And so he sat on her lap, asked her if she liked animals, and when she said yes, he pulled 2 doves from his pockets and bit their heads off one by one. After spitting a dead dove's head onto the table, there was reportedly some screaming. Ozzy was removed from the building and told he'd never work for the label again. And this probably should have been a career-ending spectacle. But his manager, Sharon Arden, who you might better know as Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy's future wife, she spun the press coverage into a publicity firestorm. Soon after that, Blizzard of Oz entered the US charts.
Wait, but what about the bat?
Yeah. I said 2 incidents. I'm getting to the bat. So, cut to January 20th, 1982. Ozzy and his band are playing a show at the Des Moines Veterans Memorial Auditorium, and it's at this point that they've been on tour for over a year. Somewhere along the way, Ozzy started with this gimmick where he'd throw raw meat at the audience like it was a pie fight. And the audience, in turn, they would throw things back. Crazy stuff, snakes, dead rats, sheep testicles, heavy metal stuff. But on this night in Des Moines, someone threw a live bat on the stage. Ozzy picked it up and assumed it was rubber until he'd ripped its head off with his teeth and his mouth filled with blood. He was sent to the hospital that night and for 3 weeks thereafter had to endure round after round of painful injections in his ass, all to ensure that he wouldn't contract rabies. Anyway, the bat thing and the bird thing, over 40 years later, we're still talking about him. Ozzy's retold the stories in countless interviews. So many times, in fact, that he once said his least favorite interview question is, "What does bat taste like?" What a life. Anyway, I think it's really relevant to the conversation that all of this happened before Ozzy got sober, before he became a family man and had a hit TV show and all of that. Ozzy today is very different. He did eventually grow up, and there have been no reported animal devourings in over 40 years. So proud. It's terrific. Anyway, that's all we got for you today. I'll see you next class for more Pop Culture 301.